I'm Rocky Adkins, Senior Advisor to Governor Andy Beshear, and a proud Eastern Kentuckian. How about you? We are honored to be back in Eastern Kentucky and to especially be here in Floyd County. We're here this morning with the governor and to be with you to make some announcements and to also go over the declaration that was approved here in Floyd County. And to explain that, we have Michael Dossett here with us as well, who is Kentucky's Emergency Management Director, to answer any questions we may have. So this morning it's good for me to be back in Eastern Kentucky, but it's more than that to have our governor back in Eastern Kentucky. I have kind of blazed a trailway for him to continue to come back and be with us and to share with you as we progress and as we blaze that new path for Eastern Kentucky as we rebuild our economy and create good jobs for our people in the future. I know we have our leaders here in the House, and the Mountain Arts Center, what a beautiful place this is and what an attraction this is. To be able to land at the big Sandy Airport and be sitting here within 20 to 25 minutes and to be with all of you. I'm excited to be here, and I see a lot of faces in this crowd that I know very, very well. It's good to see my good friend, your state representative. Let me tell you about her. She works so hard for you in Frankfort, Kentucky. She is absolutely... we're not going to talk about all of those things that she has loaded up this state budget for you to help make a difference. We're going to be back to do some of that in the very, very near future, to be very honest. Matter of fact, Governor, I think they could probably start marking their calendars now for maybe May the 24th of maybe another trip through Floyd County to make some of the infrastructure announcements and jobs announcements and all of those good things that are going on in different parts of Eastern Kentucky, but especially right here because of your leadership. Ashley, it's good to see you. Stand up and let these folks see you. It's an honor for me this morning to introduce to you an individual who I get to work with every day. And you all know there must be some civility left in the political arena, because a little over a year ago, you know, I was on the ballot to try to be elected governor. But you know, I ran against an individual who had credibility, an individual. We really didn't run against each other. We ran to try to make Kentucky a better place. We didn't talk about each other. We didn't kick each other. We didn't call each other names. We didn't say bad things about each other. We talked about the issues of Kentucky, and we talked about the issues of this region. He named me as his senior advisor, and we worked together very closely every day in how to build that better Kentucky. He's been in Eastern Kentucky more than any other part of Kentucky in his trips and visits to make announcements for different projects, different agendas, and a different vision of how we move forward. So it is a great honor for me to introduce to you your governor of this great Commonwealth of Kentucky, and a governor who understands and cares about Eastern Kentucky every day. And he's shown that in his actions in the past. He's going to show that here today, and he's going to show that in the future. Give a big Floyd County, Eastern Kentucky welcome to your governor of this great Commonwealth of Kentucky, Andy Beshear.
Thank you. You know what? That feels pretty good. What a difference a year makes. We think about a year ago this time, we were postponing the Kentucky Derby. We wouldn't have been in a place like this, even spread out like we are. We were starting to feel the grief and the loss that would mark this last year, losing 6,400 Kentuckians. We were uncertain about our future, how long it would take, what it would cost us. But what a difference a year makes. When you look back on any pandemic that we've ever dealt with, there's never been a moment in history where 14 months after the first case, at least in our state, that there were effective vaccines and that over half of Kentucky's adult population had been vaccinated. That is nothing short of a miracle, folks. And so while this last year we felt these tough emotions, I got to tell you, I'm feeling a lot of hope right now. I'm feeling hope today. I'm feeling hope about a better tomorrow. And I got to tell you, and I'll mention it in a little bit, I have a lot of hope for every part of Kentucky about what our future is going to bring. And I tell you what, I got hope today because I'm here to present good news. And how good does it feel to be here for good news? That good news is also going to come in the form of 2 very large checks, and I know we're all excited about that. As you know, this is a special place. I have loved Floyd County, and I've been here just about as much as anywhere else in eastern Kentucky. It is a special place with special people. But you know, Floyd County has been hit hard in this last year. You've lived through it. It wasn't just a pandemic. It was historic flooding, which followed those winter storms after winter storms after winter storms. And I know the damage was intense, more so than most of us had seen in our lifetimes, or at least since all the way back to 2010. It endangered lives. It destroyed people's homes. I mean, after this year, it had taken so much from us to wipe out somebody's home. That really hurt. But the thing that makes Kentucky amazing is our people. Every single time we have a natural disaster, every single time we face adversity, our neighbors, Johnny Ray, are there for us. They rally around us. They're the reason that you don't see the same losses and the same casualties in Kentucky when the same disaster hits another place. And for that, I'm eternally grateful, whether it's in this pandemic or in response to any flooding, ice storm, or snowstorm that we will ever see. But I want you to know when that flooding started, we took it seriously. Rocky and my phone both started lighting up, and we wanted to make sure that we were acting immediately. So we declared a state of emergency that very night on February 28th, and we called out the Kentucky National Guard. And how incredible has the Guard been over this past year in everything they've been doing. And starting that very next day, we knew that this was not a regular flooding event. Now let's admit, we flood in Kentucky 365 days a year. But this was something significant. It was something more. And so I immediately began appealing to the federal government, to FEMA, and eventually directly to President Joe Biden via phone call, who granted a major disaster declaration for the Commonwealth of Kentucky. This isn't just the normal disaster declaration that we see and which we got for the snow and the ice storms. I want you to know this is something incredibly rare. To apply for and to get individual assistance doesn't happen much. In fact, right now, there are only 3 states in the entire country receiving individual assistance. The President's action made federal funding available to help individuals in communities of Breathitt, Clay, Estill, right here in Floyd, Johnson, Lee, Magoffin, Marion, and Powell counties. What this means is that our families are going to be able to apply for between $30,000 and $40,000 to help rebuild their homes, to help rebuild their lives. And you know what? It feels good. Now, I know that oftentimes in multiple parts of Kentucky, eastern Kentucky and western Kentucky, we feel forgotten. We do. We feel forgotten, whether that's because we're far from Frankfort or because we're far from Washington, D.C., though right now some people would say that doesn't seem like a bad thing. We're not. Now, the President of the United States, the entire federal delegation stepped up and pushed to make this happen. We fought for you, they fought for you. You fought for you. And we got one of the rarest declarations that we ever see. And good thing. I mean, right now we already have documented more than 1,200 instances of damage to people's homes, debris removal, emergency measures. Right now, this natural disaster cost us over $72 million. In Floyd County alone, the Federal Emergency Management Agency assessments found 7 structures totally destroyed. That's 7 families who lost everything. 111 of our families received major damage to their homes here in Floyd County, and 194 received what they call minor damage, but we know that's not minor. We know that's really major when you've got to rebuild. And this is important. So far, FEMA's only completed 29% of their assessment for your county. So these numbers are sure to grow. The federal disaster money is available right now to the families that need it. So we need everybody who has a legitimate claim to understand that this assistance is available. Residents and business owners who sustained loss in the designated counties, meaning right here in Floyd, can begin applying with FEMA by registering online at disasterassistance.gov. That's disasterassistance, all in one word, .gov, or by calling 800-621-FEMA or 800-462-7585 for the hearing and speech impaired. And Virginia would want me to make sure I said only use that number if you have hearing or speech impairment. We've also asked FEMA to expand what their initial ruling was on how many counties. Listen, we know we're all Kentuckians, and you got bordering counties that were hit hard that weren't included in that original order. So we are trying right now, I sent the letter yesterday, trying to help all of our brothers and sisters across Kentucky to ultimately get these dollars and to be able to work to rebuild just like you're going to be able to do here in Floyd County. Following the assessment from FEMA, a determination will be made on each county's eligibility to participate. Residents in these areas with questions and additional reports of flood damage should contact the people that are there for us when the flooding occurs, local county emergency management. Do we have folks from emergency management here today? Where are they? They're incredible. Where's our EMS director? Stand up. We really appreciate you. We are so proud of your work. We are so proud of your people. And that we know in these times and floodwaters like this that some of our family members are still here with us because of the good work that you do. And we know your work only starts as the floodwaters start to recede. So thank you so much for your service. There's no escaping the fact that we've been hit hard, haven't we? Pandemic, snow, ice, and flooding. But the great news is there hadn't just been help from our neighbors. As we've worked to get through this, there is now direct help coming from the federal government. I'm also happy to be here today to have some other good news. Not only is Floyd County seeing this very rare, about once in a decade help from Washington, D.C., but we brought a little help from your state government as well. One of the major problems with flooding is the damage it causes to our roadways. You've seen it, how it can totally strip away that pavement. And the terrible effects that that has on our daily lives, either in our commutes or getting people to the places that they need to go. So even outside of these flooding events, we have been focused on upgrading our transportation infrastructure to boost mobility, but most importantly, safety. That's why last week I announced that we are going to invest $23 million to improve highway safety near our schools. When we think about our most precious cargo, I think about my 10 and 11-year-old. And how, listen, I'm really glad they're back in school. I know all our parents are glad for that. But I want them to get there safely, not just during this pandemic, but every other day. So for Floyd County alone, we are directing $200,000 to boost highway safety near Prestonsburg Elementary. That money is going to be used to extend a turn lane on what is called an R-cut on Kentucky Highway 114. It's going to benefit traffic and safety near the school, improve the lives of parents who drop off and pick up their kids, make sure that those buses are able to make that turn safely, and ultimately get our kids safely in and out of that building every single day. I can't imagine a better use for our state road fund dollars. So I'd like to invite Floyd County Superintendent Danny Atkins, along with our county judge, up to receive this $200,000 check. Come on in. All right.
She's in Miami.
That'd be nice.
Celebrating her birthday.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations. Thank you. All right. And that's not all. We didn't just come to bring one check. I'm extremely happy to also present this check for $361,000, which is part of $5 million in discretionary funding I approved to boost access and mobility across the Commonwealth. These funds are going to go to your roadways that are most badly in need of repairs across the Commonwealth. Here in Floyd, this money is going to pay for resurfacing of 4 county roads: Emma Road, Happy Hollow Road, Mudlick Branch Road, and Henpen Branch Road. So. I know these streets are vitally important to you. That's why we listen. And we listen to the needs that we know that you know the best, and we make sure we help in every way that we can. So if I could get Floyd County Judge Executive Robbie Williams to come back up, we are going to present him this $361,000 check. Stay in there, Rocky. All right, and with that, Judge, again, we appreciate your leadership. This wouldn't have been possible without you. And if you wouldn't mind coming up, making a few remarks.
Sure will. Thank you. Thank you, Governor. We always appreciate having you visit Floyd County. We like checks. You've gone out of your way to help us. You know, as you've discussed, the last year has been a challenge for all of us. The last 90 to 120 days has been extremely challenging for Floyd County and the city of Prestonsburg. I would like to recognize our city council and our magistrates for the work that they do to help us. I do want to thank everyone for coming out this morning to welcome Governor Beshear and his staff on this beautiful spring morning in the mountains of eastern Kentucky. I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to show your support for Floyd County and Governor Beshear, who represents all of us unconditionally. Democrat, Republican, Independent, there's never been a question. As I've heard the governor say time and time again at different events, we're all Kentuckians and we're all in this together. The last year has been a challenge for all of us. The COVID-19 virus, it's changed us forever. As an elected official, if you didn't feel like you had the weight of the world on your back, you wasn't doing your job. It's difficult enough to manage one family alone. As leaders, we're looked up on for guidance and support in difficult times, and I'll promise it can be overwhelming. But through the fear, anxiety, and stress, we persevered as a county and a region. To be quite honest, our county is doing remarkably well. This is not because of my efforts alone. It's because of a cohesive goal of wanting more for the people that we represent by Mayor Stapleton, myself, and Governor Beshear. The governor and his staff always answer the call. And trust me, we call a lot. But I can't thank the governor and his staff enough for the support that we receive, not just financially, but in so many aspects of running our county government. The governor's staff always has gone above and beyond to find the resources to help us fix our aging infrastructure, such as Southern Water District, or help to secure funding to replace an 89-year-old water plant in Wellwright. Emergency road funding to help during the flooding, and the discretionary funding that we just received to resurface aging and dilapidated roads. But the one thing that is near and dear to my heart is the funding that we receive to help deliver over 55,000 meals to our senior citizens during the pandemic that began 1 year ago. On Friday at 4:30, my cell phone rang, and it's the governor calling. He said, "Congratulations, President Biden has approved Kentucky's major emergency declaration for the flooding, and Floyd County has been approved for individual assistance. The governor knows how important it is for us to receive that individual assistance to help out our residents of Floyd County. He told me immediately after the flooding that he would do everything in his power to ensure that we get the assistance that we need. He answered the call one more time, and that's why we're here today. Thank you, Governor, and I want to thank your staff." Director Dossett, would you like to say a few things?
Thank you, Judge, and thanks for working with us very closely through all the events in the flooding, the ice storm. Appreciation to all of our elected officials. That's what makes this work. That's what the response effort is all about. Just some quick updates on the individual assistance. As of today, this morning, there have been approximately 1,000 entries across the 9 counties that have applied for individual and household assistance. That reaches some 1,000+ homeowners across these counties. As the governor indicated, he has asked for additional counties to be included, 26 counties, and those inspections are ongoing now. This disaster is open for individual assistance until June the 23rd. That's a key date, and we'll send you reminders for that pretty regularly. And just as another reminder, we're pushing this out through FEMA to our county judge officials and our magistrates, everybody in the EM chain. Those that are applying, it's important that they bring the proper credentials and the information. You can register online or by phone, as indicated. Basically, we'd ask everybody to remind all of the folks you know that were impacted, take pictures. The most important thing in this entire response is documenting the damage. FEMA is actually on the ground in the state EOC. They have brought our management cadre into the state, and they'll be here for quite some time. So a personal thank you to everybody that was involved in the response, especially our local EM director. They put in the time, and they're the ones that are boots on the ground, along with all of our officials. So thank you again. Please don't hesitate to reach out should you need something, and we appreciate all of your efforts.
And as you all well know, one of those road projects we just announced is in the city limits. So next we're going to hear from a great mayor who I not only have the opportunity to work with, but we've even eaten a little bit of barbecue together, haven't we? Mayor Stable.
Maybe a lot of barbecue.
Maybe a lot.
Governor, thank you for coming up today. And I'm going to lead into this in sort of an odd way. You know, the city of Prestonsburg didn't receive a check, but that's not what it's about. It's about city of Prestonsburg, Floyd County, and this region working together. It's about partnerships that we have with the governor's office, with the judge's office, with the school systems, and everyone else. Until we get these partnerships in place and we start working together, we're never going to succeed as a region. And I'm so thankful to have so many partnerships that the city has. We have Tim Hatfield, the CEO at ARH, works with us. We have Ashley Tackett, who works with us all the time. We have Dr. Zilka, who through a partnership here at the college, we now have this building accredited on our beginning classes to teach music, to teach technical side, production, direction, audio and video here at the college. Kids can get credits for that. So it's all about partnerships. And until we all come together and start working together as a region, not the city, not the county, not the next county over, but until a region, we are not going to be able to move forward as a region. We'll have some people shine here and some people shine there, but to bring us all out, we all got to go at the same time. Governor and Rocky, thank you all. Director Rossett, thank you all for everything you've done. And I do want to point out that the MAC staff has been covered up this week. They've done a wonderful job of setting everything up and everything ready. Please give them a hand. I sometimes forget, Governor, how much it takes to set up for these events until I actually get to come help them. So thank you all. Thank you all for coming out. We really do appreciate you all coming out and supporting everything going on.
Yeah, before I close, I know I mentioned him, but there's a guy here who's given service to this area for a long time, fighting for you up in Frankfort. Senator Johnny Ray Turner, why don't you stand up so we can really recognize you? Let me end by saying thank you. Thank you. Over this last year, over these last 14 months, every single Kentuckian has had an opportunity to be a hero. You know, we thought maybe 15 months ago that we were living in a disconnected world, that people were looking at their devices, that we weren't truly connecting with each other, but how wrong were we? Over these last 15 months, we have had to live for each other every single day, to be selfless over being selfish, to know that every single decision we made could impact somebody else, to truly live out our values and our faith as loving our neighbor as ourselves, and in fact having to sacrifice things we love to do because that neighbor might just be harmed. I got to tell you, people came together here in eastern Kentucky in incredible ways to protect one another, and you ought to be incredibly proud. So on behalf of this Commonwealth, on behalf of a guy that's had to try to lead us through this pandemic, I know my decisions haven't always been perfect, but because of your work and everybody's work around you, we have done so much better than other states. Because of your decisions and because of your sacrifice, thousands upon thousands of people are still alive in this state, and for that, I am grateful. But I'm also really excited. After 15 months of difficulty, the next 15 months, I think, are going to be of hope and of opportunity. When we look at what's possible right now, it looks like it is greater than at any time in our lives, and it looks like it's going to be available to all Kentuckians. Just look, our most recent company to go public, to be listed on the NASDAQ, talking about making it, isn't just one that grew up right here in Kentucky. It's one located in eastern Kentucky. How exciting is that App Harvest project? And every day, we're hearing more and bigger opportunities. Over the last 2 weeks alone, I've talked to groups that are looking to locate more than $5 billion plus investments somewhere in the United States, and they are looking towards Kentucky. In a post-COVID world, when people aren't looking for the density of a New York or a Los Angeles, why not us? Why not here? Why not eastern Kentucky? When investors are looking now to do more than just fund a company and get returns, but make real change, bring real opportunity, I think we've got a heck of a story to tell. And I got to tell you, there's not a workforce better across this entire country that's ready to go. There is not one better than what you have right here in eastern Kentucky. This last year also taught us a good lesson in how we make sure we take advantage of this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It taught us that what brings us together, what connects us, is so much more important than anything that divides us. I mean, we think about the stuff, even if we believe in it strongly, that used to make us mad at each other. That's nothing compared to how our decisions over this last year could impact the very lives of our neighbors. You know, a lot of things that were keeping us from talking to those individuals don't seem all that big right now. And so even though you hear on all the cable news about all the division and all the difficulty, I got to tell you, I feel like we are more united than we have ever been. We've had to be in this last year. And if we can just take a little bit of that goodness, I saw over 8 sets of green lights on people's houses coming just from the airport to here. We can just take a little bit of that compassion. If we can just take a little bit of that us instead of me, and we can pay that forward, I tell you, the sky is the limit for all of us. You know, people have told me that I'm going to be remembered as the guy who was governor during COVID. I want to be the guy who helped lead us out of COVID. I want to be a person who is governor at a time of so much opportunity that is what we look back on. And I tell you, Doug, we've got that chance. It is right there in front of us. And you can bet, with Rocky at my side, we're going to make sure that we grab that opportunity, not just for Kentucky, but we bring a heck of a lot of jobs and opportunity to Eastern Kentucky. Thank you all very much.